My heart is open, full of warmth, love and pride. This really has been a very long ride. My demons will come, but I will not hide. So take that, you devil, you cannot reside. For I am strong and you are weak. My future isn't looking so bleak.
So you brought some photographs.
This was when I was a student nurse, and this is just me in uniform. This is my 21st birthday, and this one here, this photograph is in later years. I went to Saudi Arabia and I worked there as a nurse for 4 years. This was a compound beside the hospital. It was a very nice hospital.
Did you learn any of the languages?
I did, yeah. I picked up quite a bit of it, you know. You can get by, yeah. It was a good experience, and I did when I was in Saudi, I did quite a bit of travelling. I travelled to Kenya, and I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro.
Hello Phil, what brought you to this stage in recovery?
I was drinking too much, so I felt that it was taking over my life.
And how did the journey make you feel?
Well, it's been a hard journey. I've been abstinent not quite a year yet. In July I'll be a year. But it has been difficult. It hasn't been easy.
Where are you at now?
I still get cravings. And on certain occasions, I was at a wedding recently, a couple of weddings in the family, and I found it very difficult. Everybody was drinking and they were all getting more and more canned. Here was I sober, listening to a load of old waffle. I can't touch it again.
My name's Victor, and I was addicted to crack cocaine.
So how long have you been clean now?
About 5 years.
Oh, that's a long time. Why do you want to destroy yourself?
Why did I want to destroy
Why
myself?
did you want to destroy?
I thought that if I took drugs, that I'd have more self-confidence and I'd be more accepted in society and whatever. And so, yeah, that's why I took drugs.
When did you start using drugs?
Well, I suppose I started using substances in my early teens. Started off, kids drinking cider in the park, smoking the odd joint. I think I was 16, and I had like a flashback from my childhood, and I suffered sort of quite severe childhood trauma. And it came back when I was a teenager, and then I couldn't deal with that. And when I was on heroin, I let it out for the first time. And then after that, I kind of realised that I didn't want to be on heroin anymore. When I finally got in contact with sort of drug services, that was the first time I felt a bit of acceptance, and I found some sort of compassion. Addiction it affects everyone. I think you wouldn't know any person that hasn't been affected by addiction, even if from themselves or from a family member. It's all across the board. When did you start using?
I started using drugs at 13.
So what kind of thing led you to using drugs?
My mum was a single parent, she had 3 kids. My dad was an alcoholic, so I didn't have nothing to do with him. And then I got abused, and my life just deteriorated. I was put into care, I found drugs, and that was like my best friend.
Basically, why did you take drugs? I had low self-esteem. What did drugs do for you? Well, drugs really screwed up my life, and whatever. And I mean, that's kind of a prescribed thing, isn't it? You know what I mean? I mean, you hear that. Like, I understand it's very good when you sit in front of the camera and you say, where are you going to be now? But you're not discussing. You really ain't getting to the pain and the core issues. But if you really want to talk about drugs, you have to talk about crime, you have to talk about suicide, you have to talk about mental health. There's a whole range of issues. That is when you're really talking about drugs. Because you're talking about abuse, you're talking about suffering, you're talking about neglect, you're talking about the whole bit. And that is where the message is. that is what is going to lead kids into taking drugs.
That was the ghetto I grew up in. It was called the infamous Mozart estate. Very rough estate. Vast majority of people I know are either dead, they're in prison, or caught up in drugs. That was my 18th birthday party.
Oh, lovely.
And that fella there, that's my dearly beloved cousin John James. Unfortunately, he died of an overdose. And I remember seeing him about a couple of days before he died. He got clean, and then what happened was he'd gone out and he went to take the usual amount that he used to take. He didn't realise his tolerance level had dropped. And guys up by Stockwell, as it goes, well, Blenheim, funny enough, they found his body. Geese had gone to work in the morning, saw my cousin leaning over a fence, and then Geese come back, my cousin's still there. He was dead. Yeah. So yeah, and I remember that. I remember seeing him in the one of the shocking things I ever saw was him in the box. This is when I started sorting my life out. I think I was about 23, 24. Well, the first time, that was when I became a dad, because I didn't want to be a junkie dad, and I was like, right, I'm going to cold turkey this. That's me and my boys in a contact centre, unfortunately, and obviously I lost the two youngest to a forced adoption. So I was just crying out for an intervention and help, and unfortunately I didn't get that. I got the complete opposite, because I remember saying to the social worker, I said, look, I've got a problem. 11, 12 years ago, I said I was a junkie, and I think I was a bit too open and honest with them, which is probably went to my detriment. They will come looking. I would imagine you'd always want to find out where you come from. It's up to me to kind of, make sure that I'm in a good place when they come looking.
I could walk out of here now, and all of a sudden something would happen, and it completely flip the script, and I'd be back where I was.
Yeah.
That's about the journey of recovery. That is about what recovery means. It is a war zone, a total war zone.
Mm-hmm. Now that I've recovered and I've had the help with counselling and everything else, and I've had all the support, I don't feel that I need to take drugs. Nothing's an excuse. I was young. I know things that happened to me wasn't meant to happen. I'm not going to let them win, and that I'm in a better place now, and I feel so much better being clean, and I just feel happy. I don't feel depressed and lonely and isolated and embarrassed and shamed, and I feel so much, I'm in a much better place.
Like when you were drinking, was you were at home a lot of the time bored?
Yeah.
So
I used to go to the pub.
yeah, because you wanted connection.
I wanted just, social outlet.
Well, the crack, as they used to say in Ireland.
Yeah.
Not that kind of crack, by the way.
So Phyllis, I'm really impressed by your recovery, but what do you think is going to keep you going in recovery?
Well, I think I'm going to have to cast my mind back to when I was drinking and what I was doing, how it was taking over my life. And if I can, keep that thought in my head, I think, I'll succeed.
This is a couple of years into recovery. Kind of channeled all my pain into my art. I've gone back to night school. I did a substance misuse level 1. I did mental health awareness. I did so much training that I did peer mentoring. It gave me a sense of purpose. One day at a time, as they say. But I think I've got something to offer the world. Definitely. What they say, it's the opposite of addiction is connection, and I think it's not sobriety, it's not being clean. It's having meaningful connections and meaningful things in your life. I think once you've got that, your desire to use substances dissipates. So you don't have it anymore. You've got other things in your life that are more fulfilling. Yeah. But I don't think the policymakers and people who are cutting all these budgets don't really understand that. I had that famous TED talk, and this guy says, everything we know about addiction is wrong. And when the way he explained it, he said the opposite of addiction is connection. And I completely agree with that, because I think people will connect, if they've got nothing in their lives meaningful, they'll connect with a substance, because that's their escape from their reality. So they tend to just connect with drink, drugs, whatever it might be, you know, it could be food, bad behaviours, you know. Where do you see yourself in 10 years' time?
I see myself in 10 years' time, hopefully off medication, in a nice job, well, yeah, a nice job, like my own house, and still clean, and hopefully, well, yeah.
Happy?
Yeah, happy.